you'd go for that for the right discount. What would the right discount be? Yeah, but the discount would be 10%. So what price would you be willing to hand him today in exchange for delivery from us next year? Right, $100, 10% less than 110. Well, that point you just arrived there, that's 1 point on the present value of the demand curve, present value of next year's demand curve. That's just 10% below the D1 demand curve. If you pick some other quantity, let's say QD, if that was the quantity that was going to be available next year, then next year's price would be given, again, by the height of next year's demand. To keep things easy, let's say that next year's price is going to be $220. Well, the seller came to you offering you the same deal, offering that if you pay me today in advance of delivery, I'll give you a discount. Then the right discount would be 10% less than $220 or $200 paid today. At this point here is the second point on the present value of next year's demand curve. Again, it's just 10% below the original demand curve. So if you were to repeat that many times, you can trace out a curve, passes through those 2 points, and something like that. This curve and called the present value of D1. It's always just 10% below the D1 curve, so that difference there is 10% or whatever the interest rate is. And you should notice that they meet down here, because 10% of nothing is nothing, so it's not a downward shift of the demand curve, it's downward tilting of the demand curve by 10%. Okay, once you have those two tricks down, you just have to imagine what the total market demand for exhaustible resources is going to be. Now, first of all, to make the market for this exhaustible resource look as simple as possible, I'm going to say that there are 100 units of oil in the world to be consumed from now to all time, and that's it. In other words, given that 100 units, which is the total quantity available QT, we'd say that the supply of oil is just perfectly reasonable in that 100 units. Now, thinking in terms of marginal cost curve, what this means is the marginal cost of producing oil is 0 up until you get to the 100 unit, and then beyond that, marginal cost suddenly becomes indefinitely large. So it's the same as marginal cost for any fixed resource. Now, start dividing the future time periods up into multiple time periods. We'll start by saying, let's say that there's a group of people who want to consume the oil this year. Let's draw their demand curve for this oil. And this year's people have a demand curve, and I'm going to call it E0. And let's say it stops a little bit short of 100. That might be 90 right there. When oil is free, they'll buy 90 units. There's no need to plug out the diagram for that. If those are the only people that there are, only this year's people, there are no future people, then what's the price of oil going to be in this world? Right, it will be 0, right? Because demand falls a little bit short of supply. It's just like air is to us now. We have a demand for air. Certainly we'd be willing to pay a positive price for it if we had to. But fortunately for us, the supply is so huge relative to our demand that we get to have air for free. But now suppose you introduce some future people. Let's say that there's not just this year's people, now there's next year's people coming to the world. They want to buy oil too. We should say next year, these people will want to be consuming oil. Now, I'll just have to make up an arbitrary shape for their demand curve, but let's say that the future demand looks like this. D1, make it a dash curve to make it distinct from the other one. Now, Now, there's no special reason I drew G1 lower than G0. It could have been higher than G0, which was affecting the argument. Well, if these are the two sources of demand for oil, this year's people and next year's people, then how would you go about figuring out what the market price of oil is going to be? We already found that if there's only this year's people, the market price will be 0 down there. But now that you have these two sources of demand, where would you find the market price, or how would you go about finding it? You can imagine there's an auction being conducted, and everybody on this side of the room is bidding for oil for this year's consumption. Everybody on that side of the room is bidding for oil for next year's consumption. So in that imaginary auction, where would you find the equilibrium price to oil? Given the auction that's taking place today, so it's the present price. Yeah.
How many